Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009, and today I'm playing Train Sim World 3. I recently got the expansion to go onto Sherman Hill up in Wyoming. Now I don't know anything about this particular route, so I'm starting out with the basic journey where we're going over a couple of the tutorials and getting a feel for what the route looks like. All of that fun stuff.
Take a seat in the engineer's seat. This is where you'll be spending most of your time.
Okay.
Firstly, we'll need to start the engine. In order to start the engine, the isolation switch will need to be set to start.
Start.
The control and fuel pump button allows control of the fuel pumps from this cab for all connected locomotives.
Okay.
Press and hold the engine start button. Now we can set the isolation switch to run. The engine run button allows control of all of the diesel engines in the consist from this cab. We will now need to configure the brakes for the type of operations that we will be performing.
Okay. The cutout valve is over here. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Operator controls.
The engine is now running, and we can depart. Set the switch as indicated.
Okay, can't do it that way. Have to do it with the switch. Alright. Okay, looks like the training facility that's in 3. Alright, let's make sure this one's online. It is. I guess we're going right. Okay. Alright, let's climb up into the cab and hope for the best. There we go. I'm attempting to use the background music in Streamlabs, because otherwise this would be a really, really quiet game. Okay. Apply the independent. Release the automatic.
We'll need to set the lights for correct operation. The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Alright. Okay, going forward. Except, why is it not couple to a couple of tankers. See what's actually on this. Alright, tankers. Okay, that's weird. Alright, so apparently what we're going to do is we're going to couple onto these cars, turn off this locomotive, and then switch to the other one. Okay, we need to slow down a lot. Thing is, we didn't even check to see if it was, if the knuckle was open.
Let's shut down this cab and head to the one in the lead unit.
Okay. Okay, operator controls. Trail. Remove reverser handle.
Climb down and make your way to the lead loco.
Okay. You know what? Let's do it this way. This is literally my first time on this route, so this will be a completely new experience for me.
Now we will need to set up this loco for operation.
Alright, let's turn this all the way up. Okay. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit strange because
Set the switch as indicated.
what do you mean? Okay, the equalizing reservoir is going crazy. Alright, it's going to be a weird one. Alright, so the thing that I'm thinking is going to be a little bit weird is the fact that I'm fairly certain the cutout valve is still cut in on the back locomotive.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
As a matter of fact, let me go double check that first. Still cut out. Okay. That way we have the headlights set up. Close the door. Close that door. We don't have a conductor. Fantastic.
Once again, apply some power to get moving.
No. I need to go back here. Yeah, controlling with unit at long hood end. So basically it's at the back. Don't have heaters. Or at least it doesn't look like we need the heater. Gauges are kind of in like the weird position, but it's whatever. Okay. Was a little bit messed up. Alright, let's throttle up a little bit. It's nice to know that those don't work in this either. So we've got loaded tanker cars and no conductor. Basically, this is an accident waiting to happen. Let's close that. That way I've got a thumbnail for this one. Because when I do my streams in VR, I don't generally have a thumbnail. Or at least I haven't so far. Alright, so we've got Sure. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this area. I've actually never been up to Wyoming. But I decided to get this expansion for the simple reason that I like the freight routes better than the passenger routes. And there's only one that's in Train Sim World 3 for the US, and that's the BNSF route on Cajon Pass down in Southern California. And I had heard that this one is upgraded. It's still a legacy from Train Sim World 2. But
Great
it
work.
has a
That
graphical
concludes the
upgrade,
basics of operating this locomotive.
so it looks a little bit better. And apparently, just by playing with the controls in the cab, it has about the same functionality as the one in Train Sim World 3. So that's slightly disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. Alright, let's learn how to start on a hill. Alright, basically this is going to be the same stuff as the BNSF training facility. It's going to have you
Welcome to driver training.
apply
Today
the
you'll be learning
independent,
how to
release
perform
the
hill starts and
automatic,
also switch to
apply
dynamic
the
brakes
throttle.
when descending.
you know, the normal
You
stuff.
will need to configure the lead locomotive each time you take over.
Distributed power doesn't do anything.
To stop the formation rolling backwards, we will need to apply the throttle while the brakes are
Okay,
still
everything's
applied.
locked. Okay.
If you apply power too quickly, the wheels will slip.
You're not kidding. It'll be really annoying if I have to reset this every time I get into one of these locomotives. Okay. Apply power, release the independent. And we should start moving.
If you are struggling for grip, apply sand to increase traction.
Okay, yeah, we have a train. Stop at 2.3 miles. no banking comms. Basically, nothing is set up, which is kind of like my main grievance with this game in general. But I don't see any... Oh, yep, there we go. Relatively small grade up. 33 cars, 2,600 tons. It's almost a mile long. Okay, so we're stopping in 2 miles, right? We are accelerating too much. Speed limit's just 45. Let's see if we can get up to 40. Area. That's reassuring. Still do not have a conductor. Yeah, what can you do?
Congratulations! You have reached the summit of Sherman Hill. As we start our descent, we'll need to switch to dynamic brakes to control our
Sit back
speed.
down. 1,000, 2,000,
Dynamic brakes allow the locomotives to control their speed while going downhill without causing excessive wear.
1,000, 9,000, 10,000. Okay. Aside from the frame drop, it should have been at least 10 seconds. Alright, let's go to 2. Okay. So yeah, right here. Do not use dynamic brake unless the throttle's been idle for 10 seconds. But as we know from the other DLC, the dynamic brake doesn't really do a whole lot above 30. So let's go up to 5. Alright, so it's set up kinda like the one you have for the BNSF. Alright, we are half mile away. Now I'm completely starting out I'm from square one with this DLC. So I'm doing the rail journey and just seeing where it takes me with the introduction to the route, all that other fun stuff. Okay, let's put it on setup for now. We're going downhill, but set up a little bit of initial reduction. No, not that. Okay, we kind of overshot it a little bit.
Well done. That concludes today's training.
Not the best stop. But good enough for a gold medal. Alright, so now let's do just a normal intermodal job. So basically big 53-foot shipping containers. Take over Continental Intermodal train from Laramie Yard to Hermosa. Don't know where either of those places are, but wow, this might be the biggest and heaviest train I've pulled yet in this game. Alright. Okay. Full application. Let's turn on the cab lights. Let's brighten this up. Brighten this up. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, operator control. Lead. Cut in. Can't turn on distributed power. Alright, hit the horn. Hit the bell. Banking comms. Alright, now let's go back here and start getting all this set up. Alright, that's cut in. Controlling with unit and long hood. Alright, basically all of this is pretty straightforward. Okay. Now let's sit back into here. That's interesting. Alright, let's look at this. Off. Handle off. Trail disabled. Okay, how many do we have? Alright, well I can promise you we are not going back to check on those. Got intermodal well cars, just like we're supposed to. Okay. Lights off. Okay. So you gotta click on that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Ah, there it is. Okay, now we should be back into the lead Oh, that's depressing. Okay. Alright. Place the independent, and we should start rolling. Okay, and these switches are controlled automatically, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, and we're moving. Kill the mill. Alright, now like I was saying earlier, supposedly this was improved to make it look a little bit better. So it's up to the Train Sim World 3 standard. So since it was another freight route, and I like those a little bit more, I figured, why not? I'll give this one a shot and see how it goes. Right. Something just seems odd about the speedometer. Alright. That's just like before. But yeah, you look over here, I still don't have a conductor. This is totally safe and not going to cause any derailments or incidents like that. Alright, that's the heater. Alright, we're going 18 miles per hour. Something somewhere is messed up. But we're going uphill, so I'm expecting to get slowed down by a lot. Especially with 9,300 tons. This event. Oh. That there's literally nothing. Just stop at the yard. Starting to think they didn't put a whole lot into these timetable events. That would be kind of disappointing, actually. We are gaining speed despite apparently going uphill. Alright, 16 miles to go. Let's see, what does the terrain look like? Okay, according to this, it's all uphill. What does the map altogether look like? It's actually a pretty decent sized area. And we're not even going to a yard, we're going to just a signal in the middle of nowhere. So are we switching out crews? Nowhere? I have no idea what's going on here, or why. I'm just along for the ride. No speed limit changes, just go uphill at 23. Yeah, because 15 to 15. Yeah, it's like 25. Maybe. Going 25 up a shallow hill. I think I'll definitely keep running this one to get a little bit more practice with it, but for the most part, I might actually like the other routes better. good news is, just like with the Cajon Pass, they actually attempt to teach you how to play. I say attempt because the tutorial wasn't the best. I'm not even sure if there's too many other things involved on this route. Like if there are any other locomotives that you might mess with. Are there more stuff in Union Pacific livery? Like, what's the deal? And why am I just starting out soloing the train? They couldn't even bother putting in a alternating AI NPC to just sit in the conductor's seat. Slightly unsettling. And then the fact that you can't do anything with these, like you can't turn on distributed power, you can't activate the slow speed controls. I guess there aren't any mines or anything that has to be loaded. Otherwise, you just wouldn't be able to do it on this route. But supposedly, there's a thing where the developers kind of don't have much of an interest in the US routes, which kind of sucks because it's otherwise a really nice game. Like, it looks good. I say that, but I didn't look outside. Okay, so the locomotive looks good. And for all practical purposes, it's like a skybox that you're just driving through, but wow. Like, one of the things I was looking for was the fact that they made it look better. Well, I currently have the lights on in this cab, and you can't really tell I have the lights on. I don't like the fact that I have to... that the multifunction display, or the smart displays, are like on their darkest setting, and you have to change it so that that's not what they're set on. Yeah, it's just weird. Alright, front right, back right. Alright, let's see, how is it looking? It's still climbing. I don't know anything about the terrain out in Wyoming, so it'll be really difficult to kind of get a feel for it, and you have to run it a whole bunch of times before you start to figure out where everything is, what's going on, stuff like that. Oh, you can't even see the rest of the train. Like, that's as far as I can see. Preferences. Okay. Screen. Yeah, I got the graphic settings on high. I mean, my computer's kinda old, but it's still pretty good. Maybe it hasn't been fully updated yet? What can I do with the seat? Oh. The jump seat, not the seat I'm sitting in. Yeah, the music that I chose as the background, it's supposed to be like a relaxing, like chilling sort of thing. But this current song, it's like elevator music. Can't do anything with the bathroom. I mean, it's decent. Okay, now we've got 6 axles, probably 4,400 horsepower. But specifically what type it is. SD70ACE. Okay, so an SD70, so this is a newer, more upgraded version of one of the other ones that I use a lot. I'll have to check to see if there are more locomotives on this route. Which I think that would actually make this the intermediate locomotive and not like the big super heavy one. Which is kind of funny considering this is 106 cars. Well, actually it's 100 cars and 6 locomotives. 1.6 miles. That's a pretty good sized train. The good news is this one's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to use. Compared to the ones that you run on the other things, the other routes, it kinda makes me think it's like some crazy hybrid between the GP38 and the ES44AC, because it has like the smart displays of the ES44AC, but it has the control layout comparable to the GP38 SD40. So it's not hard to figure out what's all in here. The thing that's kind of interesting to me is on the other routes, you have to leave the engine set to run, but you turn off the generator field, the fuel pump, and the dynamic brake switch for the trailing locomotives. Whereas in this, you leave everything off, apparently. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if those 4 locomotives weren't doing anything right now. Because you sometimes get some weird conflicting stuff with this game at times. And you really have to figure a lot of this stuff out. I mean, at least the good news is they have all of the indication lights like they're supposed to have. Like, the screens still have less than half the functionality they're supposed to have, but at least they look better. But nothing quite compares to the fact that I'm doing this all by myself. I don't even have like a NPC conductor that's just sitting over there judging you as you're going down the tracks. It's just weird, like they couldn't be bothered to just put in a random placeholder NPC. I guess that's asking too much. Still climbing. Only 33,000 pounds of tractive effort. I guess this really is like the intermediate duty locomotive. But without actually working for the railroad, I have no idea. I'm making most of this up as I go. Like, why couldn't the speedometer be in, like, 10-mile-an-hour increments? Like, what? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's not what the other ones look like. Alright, 7.8. 9 miles to go. So let's take another look at the countryside. Like a hard cutoff that it doesn't render foliage past a certain point. Nothing like wide open spaces to just show you your limitations and just how empty the world is. Alright. Like, okay, I know this is a rail yard, and this is a rail yard, but this is not. This is just a random intermediate track. I don't even know if that's near anything. Like, I have no idea what is over there. I'm stopping in 7 miles, but what's gonna be there when I get there, you know? Still climbing. Basically, I just want to find a good, like, cruising speed as we attempt to climb this hill at... I guess the speed limit's 40? Although I will say that putting in the background music makes it a little more interesting, because otherwise you're just sitting here in perfect silence, just listening to the sound of the engine and talking to yourself. Makes it like the weirdest thing to stream. But I figured since they're doing an official live stream today talking about the upcoming DLC releases, I figured maybe I would try streaming this one today for a little while. Mostly since I was just checking out the improvements on this DLC. Although, if I'm being brutally honest, if this is the upgraded version, I don't think I wanted it before. It's like, I don't think I wanted to see it before. But that's probably, like, really harsh and mean to say. Now, in the going downhill tutorial for the Cajon Pass, they outright tell you that if you're going track speed when you crest the hill, you're already going too fast. And from what I've seen in the couple of runs I've done on that route, it gets a little sketchy on that route. But normally I do the horseshoe curve. But the reason I normally do that is because that's where I'm trying to work in real life. So I'm trying to get up there. So I want to get more of a feel for what the terrain looks like, what the job looks like. Just try to get an idea. So, been watching videos, playing through this for hours on end. Recently made the decision that I was going to start streaming again, because I haven't done that for, like, years. What do we got? No. Alright, gotta slow down, as we're getting closer to the speed limit. Even though nothing has changed about this hill, it still says 0.8% up. Yet, we're accelerating in notch 6. And we're 4 miles out, so we should be able to see... Yeah, literally this entire trip is going to be less than 1% up. I mean, the good news is that when we actually get there, when we get closer, I should be able to apply just a minimal amount on the automatic brake. And it should be able to bring us to a stop. Approximately. But still being 3.7 miles out, I'm not going to start braking yet. I'll probably completely ease off on the throttle 2 miles, mile and a half maybe. Weird that it doesn't have, like, gauge lights. Those are windshield wipers. Oh god. Ditch lights. Alright, let's speed up a little bit. Starting to fall back slightly. Because on one hand, I want to see if I can start braking with enough distance left that I can still attempt to use the dynamic brake, but since we're entirely going uphill for the entire remainder of this trip, I probably won't even need the dynamic brake. I'll probably be able to stop with just the train brake. Okay, I don't have the in-cab warning breaker on, so I don't know what beeped at me or why. Let's go back down to 5. No speed limit changes. Well, there's a speed limit change there, but that's probably a switch track. There's like so much in this game that is never explained at any point. So if you don't come into it already knowing how to drive a train, you're not likely to learn. Because you're gonna just sort of figure it out. They're both controlled by the same knob. Alright. Do I want to start braking? Or do I just want to ease back on the, not that, ease back on the throttle. And just start kind of slowing down gradually. Really don't know. Just gonna roll with it and hope for the best. Yeah, I would really like to know what's beeping at me. Yeah, see, even here, you pull the throttle lever back. You don't push it forward. Without ever having set foot in the cab of a locomotive, I would never have the slightest idea. My first exposure to this sort of stuff was the game Derail Valley in VR. It wasn't until I got into Train Sim World that I realized, oh wait, the controls are backwards. Approximately 1,000 yards. Or a little over 1,000 yards to the stop. Alright, now the question is, if I kill the throttle completely, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 6, 1000, 7, 1000, 8, 1000, 9, 1000, 10, 1000. Okay. So, at this point, I've had the engine on, I've had the power on, or had the throttle on idle for 10 seconds. So, let's put it on notch 2. Alright, let's start applying brakes. Oh, that's right. You can't use the dynamic brake with the automatic brake. It automatically cuts out the dynamic. Is that why I had brake pressure? Yeah, there's a lot about this game that I don't understand. I definitely stopped too soon. And I also did this wrong because the opposite of that is also true. You can't use the dynamic brake until you've idled for 10 seconds. Well, you aren't supposed to use the throttle until the dynamic brake has been set for 10 seconds, or has been released for 10 seconds. Overshot it by a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. And a gold medal. Hermosa to Cheyenne. Alright, let's go check out the homepage and see what we got up there. Okay. To the trains, choose a route. Sherman Hill. Oh, they just have the SD70 and the SD40. Well, I'm used to the SD40 with the sandpatch grade. And the SD70 is new to this one. Well, that hardly seems exciting. Huh. Okay, that's just weird. What do they have for training? The SD40 and the Sherman Hill introduction. Alright. Well, that seems like a pretty good run for today. Thank you all for watching, and